A very good evening and a warm welcome to our second edition of UBC News tonight. On this third day of April 2025, I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and my colleague Mohammed Mugalu on sign language interpretation. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has arrived in South Sudan on a diplomatic mission aimed at resolving tensions between President Salva Kiir and his first Vice President, Dr. Riek Machar. Museveni's visit follows an invitation from President Kiir, who sought his intervention as a senior statesman in the region. The crisis escalated after Machar was placed under house arrest by Kiir, who accused him of plotting a rebellion to destabilize the country.
Uganda's national carrier, Uganda Airlines, Uganda's President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni touched Juba International Airport in South Sudan on Thursday afternoon. To receive President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni at the airport was the South Sudan counterpart, President Salva Kiir. Clad in his usual white attire, Uganda's president seems to be on a peacekeeping mission. As the two men with hats walked on the red carpet, I guess the brief chat was about the deteriorating security situation in South Sudan. In their presence, there was a short program at the airport, and it began by anthems. The parade was equally mounted to offer guard of honor to the visiting presidents, or to symbolize that Uganda's President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was on a state visit to South Sudan. To receive Uganda's President, His Excellency Salva Kiir was in company of South Sudanese Minister of Presidential Affairs, Cholmawut Ajong, Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Minister, Ramadan Mohamed Abdallah, Defense and Veteran Affairs Minister, Chowthon Balok, among others. On the Ugandan side, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was received by the Defense and Veteran Affairs Minister, Jacob Oboth, Senior Presidential Advisor, General Proscovia Nareiso. Later, the two presidents checked in at Juba International Airport VVIP Lounge. Later on in the day, the two presidents had closed-door sessions. The closed-door meeting, it was attended by, among others, Uganda's Minister for Defense, Jacob Oboth, and Minister for East African Affairs, also First Deputy Prime Minister, Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga. Besides bilateral engagements, both Yoweri Museveni and Salva Kiir are expected to extensively chat about the slip towards violence for the youngest nation in the world, arising from the recent sour relationship between first Vice President Riek Machar and Salva Kiir Mayardit. Details about this trip are still scattered, but the world is hopeful that indeed the old man with the heart will possibly persuade his comrade to drop a gun and pick dialogue for the interest of peace of South Sudan. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Now, jubilation and excitement filled Lira City main market yesterday evening as Uganda's Prime Minister Robin Anabanja made a surprise visit and personally handed out financial support to vendors. Take a look.
It was a scene of pure excitement here at Lira City main market as Prime Minister Robin Anabanja, on the invitation of the Woman MP and Health Minister Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, walked through the stalls handing out envelopes of cash. With the market chairperson Basil Edwako identifying each recipient, the Prime Minister personally delivered 28 million shillings in just 1 hour. At some moments, the Prime Minister was swallowed by the crowds as news of her generosity spread. Vendors chanted praises for the NRM government repeatedly, shouting no change in jubilation.
How much have you received? 100.
Many described the moment as unprecedented, saying it was the first time they had truly felt the presence of government in their daily struggles. The woman behind the visit, Health Minister Dr. Ruth Achenga, spoke exclusively to UBC after the Prime Minister's departure.
She came to the market and gave women who were at their stalls 100,000 each. As I said, this was to boost their small capitals so that they can be able to sell even more.
But while many celebrated, others missed out and were left disappointed.
So I want to appeal to those who did not get to take heart. Food is never enough.
The event has drawn mixed reactions on social media, with some questioning the nature of such cash handouts. However, Dr. Cheng argues that this is a direct way of empowering small business owners.
Because they are the ones who have very little capital. It is not that government dishes money. This was a humble request from Jenna Cheng for her to support those in the market.
For the beneficiaries, their sentiment in Luo was clear: women leaders never forget their people. As the sun sets on this extraordinary day, Lira City Market remains abuzz with a chatter and celebration. While some vendors return home with a financial boost, others wait in anticipation for the next opportunity. Ediulwa, UBC News.
Well, it's good to see a good empowerment there. Women at the Lira main market. Now, in more news this evening, the Parliamentary Committee on Presidential Affairs wants an increment of the State House budget in the forthcoming financial year 2025-26. The committee observed that in the current financial year 2024-25, some activities under State House faced budget constraints.
Officials from the State House, led by the Minister for Presidency, Millie Babalanda, have met with the Parliamentary Committee on Presidential Affairs to present their budget allocations for the financial year 2025-2026.
Under presidential initiatives, we have two components that got an increment. One was the transfer of operations of the National Secretariat for Patriotism Clubs from Office of the President to State House. This was a directive, and it came with 4.5 billion shillings to cater for the activities of the National Secretariat for Patriotism Clubs.
Key priorities in this 2025-2026 budget are 443 billion under non-wage, 9.1 billion under promotion of regional and international relations, 83.088 billion is allocated for community outreach, 82 billion for poverty reduction, among others.
The other priority area is the implementation of any presidential initiative that is set up in State House. The allocation is 103 billion shillings.
However, the committee discovered that some activities, including presidential pledges, are not fully implemented due to budget constraints.
The activities will always come after activities after activities after activities. But if you don't have enough budget, it will be hard for you to cater for all these activities.
The president has been pledging for almost so many years since he came to power. But we know our budget. We really display our budget here, and we know its capacity. It cannot capture all these pledges at a go. So that means that some issues of pledges must remain in the society. And therefore, wherever we meet them, we don't blame anybody, because you know that your capacity of the budget cannot satisfy them.
Other key areas that the committee observed for increment include trade and investment that he is requesting for 1.5 billion. The committee cites that the presidential promotion of trade and investment has yielded fruits, seeking for more funds.
Look at our foreign direct investment, which was attracted so far by 2025, according to World Bank data. We are at $2.8 billion US, which is about 10.29 trillion. This is all majorly about 90% the president's work. But you see, you are allocating only 1.5 billion. 1.5 billion to a president. It's like, I don't even know how to call it.
The committee also lauded State House on the skilling initiatives and urged them to expand on the skilling hubs to increase on the numbers of the beneficiaries. Lydia Chomkama and Gloria Gutabinji, Parliament.
Over 80% of government leaders have declared their incomes, assets and liabilities to the Inspectorate of Government in accordance with the declaration period set between the 1st and 31st of March 2025. Inspector General of Government Betty Kamya said this during a media briefing at the Uganda Media Center in Kampala.
Government leaders for March 2025 declaration. Over 2,800 leaders submitted their declarations by 31st March 2025.
The number of leaders in the register for the March 2025 declaration was 32,068. 32,068 are the people that were expected to declare, which you might call the universal set. The overall number of institutions that participated in the exercise was 328 MDAs. These included ministries, departments, and agencies, which were 131, and local governments were 197.
34 entities made 100% declaration compliance, such as the Inspectorate of Government, Capital Markets Authority, Kawempe National Referral Hospital, among others, with 5 entities at less than 50% declaration rate, and a few leaders that refused to declare said to be summoned.
2 ministers and 4 members of Parliament did not submit their declarations by March 31st, 2025 midnight. They will be summoned to explain their failure to declare, and if their explanation is not satisfactory, they may be prosecuted at the Leadership Court Tribunal or be charged for any of the offences under the breach.
The Inspectorate of Government will conduct electronic verification for all declarations to identify leaders with high-risk declarations.
Because you may put it there that you have 21 houses, you have a farm, you have all these items, and then you also indicate what your salary is. So the system automatically questions that how does this person have all these, yet his salary is just this. What else is he doing to get all this? So basically that is a signal, and we click on those cases for investigations and we take them on and have them investigated.
Declarations of income, assets and liabilities is a legal requirement under the Constitution of Uganda 1995 and the Leadership Code Act 33, and failure by a leader to submit a declaration to the IGG means that they are in breach of the law and will be summoned. Winnie Ainembabazi Katwire for UBC.
UBC News Tonight. Now, the Electoral Commission is facing a funding gap of 179 billion shillings in its effort to effectively conduct the forthcoming 2026 presidential, parliamentary and local council elections. Now, while appearing before the Legal Committee of Parliament, the chairman of the Electoral Commission, Simon Byabakama, emphasized that ensuring a free and fair election is not only the responsibility of the Electoral Commission, but also of other stakeholders acting within the law.
Officials from the Electoral Commission appeared before the Legal Committee of Parliament to present their ministerial policy statement for the 2025-2026 financial year. According to the budget projections for the financial year 2025-2026, the Electoral Commission requested for 774.62 billion shillings for election activities, but was allocated 594.916 billion shillings, resulting in a funding gap of 179.19 billion shillings.
Now, for 2025-26 general elections, the budget is 838.709 billion.
The budget for the coming 25-26 general elections has increased from Uganda shillings 765 billion 0.7 spent in 2020-21 to 838.709.
The Electoral Commission highlighted challenges such as the use of robust voter verification, which has already caused problems, as well as ongoing voter education efforts being hindered by inadequate funding.
Important to note that some electoral activities are either underfunded or unfunded, which require additional funding. Continuous voter education, publicity and outreaches, mounting to 3.018 billion.
So I wonder why you continue to conduct elections even where voter education is either underfunded or unfunded.
The Electoral Commission officials also mentioned that through the government's multi-sectoral resource sharing policy, they received 36,000 tablets from Ubos to use in the upcoming general and presidential elections. However, the batteries of these tablets last for only about 7 hours after being switched on. This sparked a debate among the committee members who questioned the Electoral Commission about how it plans to manage such machines, which are already considered obsolete.
But they are not firmly rejecting the use of this equipment. They are not firmly asking for funds to buy equipment that will be helpful at the general elections.
Sort of tablets you people want now to subject the people of Uganda to in an election. I think you are causing controversies even before the elections. And then you'll be blaming these tablets.
Discovered that these kits or these tablets will not serve as the purpose. We escalated the matter to our line minister. They escalated the matter to cabinet. I think it's going to be discussed in cabinet. And I think the proposal now is that EC may have to revert to the previous system of getting our own biometric kits to be used at the polling station, just like we did in 2021.
Other committee members raised concerns about discrepancies in the figures and duplications in the Electoral Commission's budget. In the unfunded activities, the Commission submitted that it needed 58.134 billion shillings to conduct elections for women. However, according to the policy statement, they had allocated 93 billion shillings for elections for special interest groups.
Does this speak to your report that you have these same elections and unfunded to the tune of 58.134 billion?
Would you prepare this ministerial policy statement that by now we should actually disregard it completely, and yet we have been preparing to interact with you on the basis of this document? All the figures have been adjusted. For example, on election management, you had proposed to use 101 billion, but now in the new document you have just supplied to us, it is 185.
Some members of Parliament asked the Electoral Commission how it intends to conduct free and fair elections given the violence that has been evident in recent by-elections, especially the most recent Kawempe by-election.
That after having many challenges in the by-election of a division, a simple district, are you ready to organize the national election?
the Electoral Commission is willing to go an extra mile of taking action under the law against errant individuals who flout the electoral process and cause disharmony in our areas.
Byabakama responded that conducting a free and fair election is not solely the responsibility of the Electoral Commission, but that stakeholders must also act within the law.
There should be a credible voters register. And 5, there should be no bribery of voters. There should be no violence or intimidation and so on. So a whole range of precepts or tenets that constitute a free and fair election. But look at all these tenets. Who are the key players? Is the Electoral Commission the one which presents candidates? Is the Electoral Commission the one that gives money to voters? Is the Electoral Commission the one which funds violence?
Another issue discussed was the low voter turnout, as indicated by the statistics provided by the Electoral Commission. Byabakama explained that this may not be attributed to inadequate voter education, but rather a lack of civic education. I'm Nafka Farid and Gloria Gwitabinji at Parliament.
Labour unions have called for the strengthening of laws governing the private security industry as prerequisite for the secured service delivery from the guards. During a stakeholders engagement on the status of labour rights for private security guards, it was established that the welfare of security guards is appalling due to weak laws and lack of a minimum wage.
Private security guards in Uganda are facing numerous challenges, highlighting the need for strengthened labour rights. Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development records indicate that private security guards are often exposed to poor working conditions, low wages and inadequate benefits, thus compromising their quality of work life.
And then there's also a lack of minimum wage policy. In Uganda, we don't have a minimum policy, a minimum wage policy. The law is not there. So it becomes very difficult for the unions to negotiate salary increment for workers because the employers are challenging us without a minimum wage. What are you asking? But we're also telling them workers need to leave so that they can work very well.
All those companies, we inspect them every year before they are assessed. And you will find a private security company pays private security guard 120,000, others 150. The fair ones are 200, and yet NSSF will also be deducted.
The chairperson of Uganda Private Security Association, Sacco, blames this to the fact that most Ugandans are yet to learn how to value the services of private security guards.
We have seen like supermarkets, they have billions of shillings in there, but when they are budgeting, the cost, what they budget for security, is always not even 0.0 something percent of what they have in the stock as their cash. So we call on the public to first of all appreciate the role of private security services, but also budget for them, because security is about life and property.
In the meantime, government has been challenged to prioritize strengthening regulations and laws governing the private security industry to ensure that guards are treated fairly and with dignity.
Let's allow them to have written contracts. Let's pay them their wages. Let's allow them to have leave when the time for taking their leave comes, and also for cases for maternity, let's allow the female employees to take their maternity leave. It is that way that the workforce will remain productive, they will enjoy their work, and the employers will also, the organizations will also earn profit, and everything will be harmonious.
According to statistics, Uganda currently has a total of 470 registered private security companies spread countrywide, supplementing government security agencies in ensuring the safety of Ugandans and their properties. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
Thank you, Dr. Skimono, for that report. The Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries is working with different stakeholders like the Ministry of Health, Kampala Capital City Authority, and civil society organizations dealing in food safety to design pesticide risk management strategies. Now, according to the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, the aim is to create awareness, more awareness about the dangers of agrochemical misuse and abuse.
There is a growing concern about the misuse and abuse of pesticides because of the dangers this causes to the environment, animal and human life. The Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries is now engaging with different stakeholders like Ministry of Health, KABI, Kampala Capital City Authority and civil society organizations dealing in food safety to design pesticides risk management strategies.
To manage these impacts, you cannot have only one approach. It will require revising some of the policy rules that we have around, some of the regulations to make sure that we incorporate the issues of food safety and also increase the awareness. But we also need as a ministry to make sure that we sensitize the grassroots farmer, to make sure that the farmers transit from using so many pesticides to a more agroecologically friendly farming systems, using integrated pest management, to use pesticide only if it's really necessary, not just having blanket spraying.
We have looked at some of the studies that have been conducted by partners in the country, and they point out the issues of dangers of misuse. But through our programs also, we have also looked at some of the recommendations that are given to the farmers on the various pesticides, and that is information that we are using to support our design of our campaign strategy.
These different stakeholders are designing social and behavior change communication campaign targeting farmers, agrochemical dealers and consumers about the dangers of agrochemical misuse and abuse.
If the other challenge that we have looked at and where we need to play a role, the quality of the agro inputs, you find that some are substandard, others are counterfeit. So once applied, they end up not being effective, and people continuously use different concoctions, and then this even adds more abuse to the abuse that is there, or the misuse. So what we are trying to do here with the different players in the agriculture, animal, environment, others in academia, research, and even consumers. How do we change behavior? How can the market be a consumer-driven market, consumers demanding quality? So we will need to position the messages, do awareness, address mis and disinformation,
so that we can reach out to more people to be able to change the behaviors in the use of these pesticides, because they are here with us and we have to work out better ways to use them.
So we stand a threat to it, because as you use more and more of these chemicals in a way that is not appropriate, they again, the spillovers affect us.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries concedes that farmers also need information on pre-harvest intervals or the time it takes to harvest after spraying crops to avoid high residual levels of chemicals on crops.
We take a short break, but we'll remind you that after the messages, we'll be back with more stories here on UBC News Tonight.
Come on, mo pocket, tambula about the street, issues are my target. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. I'm in a plantation, but on a global mission, internet ambition, full condition. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. All cash is gone, netagayo karoni, nigga mukafoni, money in the zone. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable.
MTN together, our ambition is unstoppable.
We are what? Unstoppable!
Alright, listen up. Colocate is on a mission. It makes our gums happy and our teeth strong. See? We're moving forward and making changes.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth. And we'll leave no smile behind.
Amazina ganje ninyetekwa Seruhanga John Bosco ninduga mu district ya Rukungiri byo muhanguzi wa miliyoni 16 na Uganda National Rotary nzahangwire kurwo mu kuzana star 278 ngafuna message erikweka mu muhanguzi nashemererwa konka nabaza kugira ngo neri yafere sente ziriyo zona bakaziteka ko nazihangwire.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Juba, Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
According to the Uganda Bureau of Statistics Census Report of 2016, in Uganda, 12.4% of the population, about 4.5 million, live with a disability. Limited access to ICT and assistive technologies increases digital disparities, prompting UCOSAF's aim to promote digital inclusiveness for persons with disabilities. The ICT for People with Disability program aims to improve the accessibility of education and technology for persons with disabilities and promote their full and effective participation in society. UCOSAF is implementing this program through the creation and maintenance of an online observatory for persons with disabilities intended to link persons with disabilities with service providers and different programs that empower them, and provision of adaptive tools that enhance their quality of life through ICTs and digital skilling.
The news tonight. Now, in more stories this evening, the National Environment Management Authority has been commended for its restoration efforts that have seen wetland encroachers lawfully evicted. Now, State Minister for Environment Beatrice Atimenwar calls for more action, citing presence of the government political will to restore and protect the environment. This she echoed during the inauguration of the 9th Board of Directors for NEMA, where she disagreed with plastic recycling as the solution to plastic pollution. We have more.
Plastic pollution is believed to be one of the leading contaminators of Uganda's ecosystem. This is attributed to the continued manufacturing of such products, whose effects to the environment are scientifically confirmed to be disastrous. Alive to this fact is the State Minister for Environment, Beatrice Atimenwar.
The plastic remains the biggest problem in our environment because they block our waterways, they remain in the soils, making the soils infertile.
We lay our future in thy hand.
She sounded the same during the swearing in of the members of the new Board of Directors for National Environment Management Authority, NEMA.
The work that NEMA is currently doing to restore our wetlands in Kampala and selected cities across the country is commendable. I want to encourage you that we are with you, but the most person who is more with you is God the Creator. Because He did create the world, put it in its place, It is human beings who have gone into the space of Mother Nature.
I, Dr. John Ekure, do swear that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially, to the best of my...
The newly inaugurated board members are 9 in number, 10th being the authority's executive director, who is also the secretary to the board. 4 of them are new, 3 are female, and 5 have been reappointed.
Presented to me, so help me Allah.
Behind these odds lies a commitment to the quest for environmental protection.
Collaboration or partnership, integrity, transparency, accountability, honesty, and innovations are what I will strive to uphold.
When people speak about environment, they think it's some monster which is placed somewhere, and it is not yet arrived. So I want to implore all of us. How do you protect the environment when you have not informed the environment who the environment is? So we need to do a lot of education, mindset change.
As to whether plastic recycling is the solution to plastic pollution is still a subject of debate among environmental protection authorities.
And right now we are seeing people getting jobs. People are collecting them, they are being used. So recycling is the way to go, and within our national water policy and environment laws, we are actually giving recycling a priority.
I don't think recycling is an answer to the menace of plastic, but that one will be a journey. Recycling is just a starting intervention, but eventually we want to turn our people out. We want to give them alternative carrier bags, use of glass.
This debate is coming at a time NEMA is celebrating 30 years of existence since 1995. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Uganda Development Corporation has inaugurated its new board of directors at the inauguration ceremony, graced over by Francis Mwebesa, the Trade and Industry Minister. Godfrey Ruhurira, the new board chair, promised to have governance standards in the corporation and will continue to promote UDC's mandate of fostering economic growth.
DC's new board of directors has been inaugurated by Francis Mwebesa, the Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. The minister emphasized on the importance of their collective expertise in fostering economic growth through the establishment and support of the industrial projects that align with Uganda's Vision 2040 and the National Development Plan.
And UDC at the center of driving this transformation. You are tasked with leading this charge and helping shape the future where industrialization drives wealth creation, job generation, sustainable growth across the sectors. You must be visionary in guiding Uganda's industrial development, while being mindful of the need to inclusive and sustainable growth that benefit Ugandans.
The new board, chaired by Geoffrey Ruhura, was also urged to observe the government policy on industrial development.
As we embark on this new chapter, I urge you, the newly inaugurated board, to work in close concert with ministry to mobilize the necessary resources for UDC. It is essential to prioritize most strategic projects that align the national priorities, embracing innovation and bold decision-making to maximize the impact of our limited resources.
The board is expected to focus on mobilizing resources for investment in key sectors of the economy, as well as scaling up existing UDC projects.
As you come in as a board, we want you to know that the task we have is enormous, because we are now growing at 6% every year, and we would want to grow close to 16% every year. So it's an enormous job that we have to do, and you are part and parcel of this task that we have.
Geoffrey Ruhura, the new board chairman, promised to uphold governance standards in the corporation and called for solid support from the government and enable the entity achieve its goals.
Aiming at driving Uganda's overall economic and industrial development.
Other UDC board members are Lynette Bagonza, Uma Kakumba, Edward Nyatia, Jacqueline Makaru, Maurice Wanyera, and Dr. Patrick Nahabwe Maureen Rwagumya. Maureen Nahabwe Rwagumya, UBC TV.
Government is prioritizing practical workplace-based learning to equip learners with hands-on skills that align with industry demands. As part of this effort, government has partnered with the Chamber of Skilled Crafts, Koblenz, from Germany to implement the regional TVET partnership project in East Africa. The initiative will support 150 students in Uganda, focusing on vocational skills development.
The Regional TVET Partnership Project in East Africa aims to enhance practical-oriented vocational training in Uganda, Rwanda and Burundi, with a focus on renewable energy trades, metal and gender inclusivity in the skilled craft sector.
Every country needs masons, carpenters, plumbers, electricians, and there's so many other crafts. And from what we've experienced in Germany, there's a lot of potential. This is possible through an apprenticeship because you have somebody guiding you.
With over 100 beneficiaries from Uganda, the project is stepping up in enhancing technical and vocational education and training, making graduates more employable.
The first aim is to skill in Uganda to push the economy in Uganda. This is the first aim. And the second aim may be that a part of these young people might come to Germany after learning the language. The language is the first and most important part to be skilled in Germany.
The dual system also actually has a potential to lower recruitment costs on the part of the workers. Because when an apprentice is in this hotel, then and is found fit to retain the position or the job, then there is no need for an employer.
The Uganda Vocational and Technical Assessment Board has announced plans to assess and certify both formal and informal TVET programs, while ensuring curriculum is aligned with employer needs.
Here we are going to be looking at assessment and certification of both formal and informal TVET. But at the same time, in that same building, we are also we're going to manage the development of the curriculum. But the most important issue we have to look at here is the employer-led TVET system, where we are putting the employers at the center.
The Uganda Small Scale Industries Association welcomes this initiative, noting its timeliness in supporting young people's transition into the workforce.
We use them to kind of train those that actually come out of either vocational training institute, those who don't have where to go. They are trained by enterprises. Sometimes it's called enterprise skills-based learning. And then it's the same as work-based learning. But initially, as they were doing it, they didn't have what we call regulated laws. Who is supposed to be a trainer? As you know, Uganda has now come to a point of whereby everybody, by having a skill, was to be a trainer. But now the regulation that has come up, the act, the one that Madam Jelly was talking about, is kind of saying a trainer should at least have had 3 years of experience.
Mary Namkose, UBC News.
In 2019, Rwampara, a newly established district carved from Mbarara, became a significant HIV hotspot, particularly in Ndeja town. The district struggles with limited healthcare resources, relying on a single health Center 3, while the withdrawal of USAID worsens the situation. Now, in response, the Rotary Club of Kololo organized a medical camp to provide essential HIV/AIDS treatment, testing and care, as well as services for other common health issues. Take a look.
In 2019,
Uganda's HIV prevalence among adults aged 15 to 49 was 6%, with women at 7.6% and men at 4.5%. Despite a decline in new infections, 1.4 million people were living with HIV, with adolescent girls and young women disproportionately affected. In Mbarara, the prevalence reached 9.6%, driven by factors like alcohol consumption, transaction sex, and transition population necessitating urgent intervention. Rwampara, a new recruited district in 2019 from Mbarara, is known as an HIV hotspot, particularly in Dija town. Compounding this issue is the district's reliance on a single healthy center 3, severely limited in equipment. The withdrawal of the US aid and TASO further exacerbates the challenge, hindering efforts to curb HIV spread.
Formerly we were in Mbarara district, but we were cut from Mbarara and we became independent as the Rwampara district of government. In our facilities in Dija, we mainly do outpatient, HIV clinic, and the maternity services. Supported by TASO, we are doing a lot of work, like paperwork, counseling, others. For us, local government, we are doing as clinicians. But now, TASO has ceased, so the whole work that was being done by the TASO is on our hands.
The workers as the health, in the health centers, they are very few. They cannot accommodate the number of people. So the staffing is very few, and the medicines, you find they write you the medicines, then you find it is not there.
With a compassionate spirit, the Rotary Club of Kololo has organized a medical camp in Rwampara, providing essential medications for common ailments such as malaria and eye conditions, along with HIV/AIDS treatment and extensive testing. The camp also offered general healthy services, bringing much needed care to the district's residents.
We have brought the camp nearer to where most people are because it's within the community. We have brought the services that most times they can't afford or access, like dental, the eye clinic, as well as the hearing. As you've heard, many people have come here and actually could not hear for a long time.
Bantuma Chawe Semambo, UBC News.
Come on, mo pocket, tambula about the street, issues are my target. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. I'm in a plantation, but on a global mission, internet ambition, full condition. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. Oro cash is gone, netaga yo kaloni, nigga mukafoni, money in the zone. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. We are good.
With you and MTN together, our ambition is unstoppable.
We are what? Unstoppable!
Alright, listen up. Colocate is on a mission. It makes our gums happy and our teeth strong. See? We're moving forward and making changes.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth. And we'll leave no smile behind.
Join us this Friday, the 4th of April 2025 on UBC TV for an insightful discussion on the 6th Africa Climate Talks and the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, on the topic Bridging Climate Action and Sustainable Development in Africa. Climate change remains a pressing challenge, and the 6th Africa Climate Talks provide a platform to address key solutions for achieving the SDGs. Tune in As experts, policymakers and stakeholders dive into discussions on climate resilience and adaptation strategies, the role of the youth and innovation in sustainability, policies shaping Africa's green future, and collaborative action towards achieving the SDGs.
This message is brought to you by African Network of Parliamentarians on Climate Change, East African Legislative Assembly in collaboration with the Office of the Prime Minister and Uganda Parliamentary Forum on SDGs with support from WaterAid Uganda.
Get set for a very special journey deep into the heart of Africa to a place most people have never experienced. I'm Peter Greenberg, and join me as we navigate a country where old rhythms live on and ancient instruments create modern sounds. A land of distant wonders and the promise of endless bounties, and all still waiting to be discovered. Welcome to Hidden Uganda.
Buza Commissioner, enhancing tax education and bringing it closer to the taxpayers. Many Ugandans have questions about the taxes they pay to URA.
When we come at revenue, they tell us to clear chitenge at 10,000. And when we are selling chitenge, we sell it at 17. So we don't know whether we are working or not.
Understanding your tax obligations can help you grow your business and avoid unnecessary losses. Now, you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner.
Welcome back from that break, and now into the business scene. Equity Bank Uganda has partnered with Liberty Life Insurance to introduce a cash-based insurance policy tailored for micro premiums. The innovation, named Equilife, aims to provide health coverage for underserved communities.
Equity Bank Uganda has teamed up with Liberty Life Assurance to develop an insurance solution for low-income earners.
We appreciate the burden that comes with treatment, but also the challenges that come with our normal customers on recovering well while they have expenses to meet. So we are saying for all our customers that will be hospitalized for more than 2 nights, up to 20 nights, the bank through this program will contribute 50,000 per night, up to 20 nights, and that's 1 million. And a last expense of 3 million shillings in case of loss of life.
Unfortunate event that our client has been hospitalized or passes on. There is a cash payout that is done of 3 million Uganda shillings, which is meant as meeting the funeral expenses and any other direct or indirect costs associated with that death.
To simplify the claim process, Equity Bank has integrated user-friendly artificial intelligence assistants, significantly reducing the time and paperwork needed for customers to assess their benefits.
It takes a maximum of 3 days, but it can be within a day, can be within hours. They testified that there are times when they have done successfully processed the claims within hours, so it's possible. But maximum is 3 days.
What we try to do here is digitize it, so that you don't have the hassle of asking you for explanations around what type of cover does it cover, does it not cover this, etc. We try to keep it as straightforward as possible to pay out on hospitalization.
The bank plans to launch awareness campaigns to promote the insurance policy and build public trust for wider adoption. Only hospitals certified by the Ministry of Health will be part of the program.
The engine is the social investment side, which is equally important, and sustainability. So those 3 engines for equity is what makes Equity unique as a bank. That's the business model. You can't separate those 3. So what we are doing is very much aligned to our social investment agenda, to our commercial agenda, into a sustainability agenda.
The creators of the Equilife Assurance are committed to addressing insurance-related issues that have previously deterred potential clients from the industry. Komagum Rogers and Abdul Nasir Luwama for UBC.
District have cause to smile following a 6.2 billion shillings grant from a non-profit organization called Financial Sector Deepening Uganda to Mushanga Savings and Credit Cooperative Organization. Now, this money is available to women aged between 18 to 35, and people living with disability and refugees can be assessed with no collateral at a low interest rate.
It will help our women between 18 and 35 in a way that it will be given out at a reduced interest rate of 15% per annum, compared to our usual interest rates of 2.5 and 2. So we believe, given this low interest rate, our women will be able to do business and pay back as required.
Additionally, women don't own property. And once you don't have property, you don't have collateral. Banks, most of them, even Saccos, they want you to put there something before you can access money. That is one of the big challenges.
That as Mushanga Sacco, we are continuing to grow because we are achieving most of the achievements the key achievements that we have got. It's like that grant. That grant, financial deepening grant, is given to best performers Saccos like Mushanga. We held our Chiterechi. This time the Chiterechi program achieved 7.9 billion, can imagine, and we got shares of 44 million from there. We had about 441 participants.
And with that, UBC News Tonight has come to an end. Thank you so much for your company this evening. I would like to say thank you to all the people who worked tirelessly behind the scene. My name is Lauryn Masika Kazimoto, and my colleague Mohammed Mugalu in Sign Language Interpretation. We do wish you a good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.